Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Shekhar Iyer. Joining me today is Shekhar Iyer ji, and we are going to take a look at the developments in the political sphere of India in the last few days. And let's welcome Shekhar Iyer ji. Shekhar ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you, sir?
Namaskar, Shekhar ji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Viewers, before I hand the baton over to Shekhar Iyer ji, may I request you all to like this video, and also if you have not subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Shekhar ji, let us start with what had happened in the Supreme Court as far as Rahul Gandhi's defamation for calling derogatory comments on a community. Now they have issued a stay order. Does that mean what? Will the government restore his membership in the parliament? Will he re-enter Lok Sabha, or will they seek some other advice? What is going on, sir?
So, well, there is tremendous tension in the Congress as of now, because they thought the Lok Sabha Secretariat would immediately issue the order for restoring the membership of Rahul Gandhi, but that hasn't happened. So you saw Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary today trying to meet the speaker, trying to hand over and to give a certified copy of the Supreme Court order. But there is a lot of thing that's going on, in terms of when the order would come, and there is a lot of tension because the Congress is very keen that by Monday, when the Lok Sabha resumes its sitting, Rahul Gandhi is there so that he can participate in the no confidence motion debate, which is to start from August the 8th. So one can see there is a tremendous tension, and there is a feeling or a fear among Congress leaders that the government is deliberately delaying it through the office of the speaker. But the official answer is this is being the weekend when the Lok Sabha Secretariat opens on Monday. Perhaps things will start moving. But Congress is very, very impatient because the Supreme Court has essentially stated the conviction, the 2-year conviction that Rahul Gandhi earned for himself by his utterances relating the Modi community, saying that why do all thieves have Modi as a surname? And he was found guilty by a lower court in Surat. Then a first sessions court also upheld it, and then he challenged it in the Ahmedabad High Court, Gujarat High Court, and then from there Gujarat High Court also upheld it, and it came to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court gave him relief, saying that this conviction is stayed with an observation that why haven't the Gujarat High Court as well as the lower courts did not assign any reason for giving the full quantum of judgment that is normally prescribed in a defamation case, that is 2 years. And that 2 years means he has been deprived of his membership. Consequently, the people who elected him, that is people of Wayanad, have been denied a representation in the Lok Sabha. This is a very, very a new argument that the Supreme Court bench has made these observations. Why did not the court, even the court, the lower court, which had written a voluminous judgment on this, as well as the High Court, which felt that he has been repeatedly making these utterances, but at the same time, Supreme Court made other two observations, that as a person of Rahul Gandhi's standing should be careful in his utterances. And second thing, it reminded him that the Supreme Court had warned him against speaking like that when he was let off with an apology in that comment about Chaukidar Chor hai, related to that Rafale case. So the Supreme Court has given him relief, a relief that has, of course, which has been on the social media and elsewhere. Also, people have looked at it saying that this is this has happened because there was some kind of a pressure. Of course, you cannot attribute motives to court for either the lower court or the High Court or even the Supreme Court for their orders. That would amount to contempt. So nobody is going to do that. But definitely for Rahul Gandhi, it is some kind of a relief. But it's a temporary relief, interim relief, because the Supreme Court also made it clear that this relief that they are granting to Rahul Gandhi will have no bearing on how his appeals are dealt with in the first sessions court, where he has appealed against that lower court, the Surat court's order about convicting me in defamation. And Rahul Gandhi's plea in the court was that he had not hurt anyone, and there is no particular group called Modi which should feel aggrieved. And he was not asking for, he would not offer an apology because he did not think any particular people had been hurt and things like that. Anyway, but this kind of celebration one saw in the Congress headquarters yesterday, as if he has got relief in a big case like National Herald case, because this is a different case. And but the mood there is, that Rahul Gandhi is back. He should immediately take over. Now, on the face of it, all the opposition leaders have congratulated. Even Lalu Prasad Yadav threw a dinner for him yesterday after the verdict, and where I'm told Lalu himself cooked a special biryani dish for Rahul with spices flown in from Bihar to
Sir, this
celebrate
is
this.
all, sir. This is all optics, sir. I mean, I mean, the guy can hardly lie. He's living on his daughter's generosity. I mean, I find it very interesting that people try to make a big deal out of this, that he personally cooked and so on and so forth. He may be a great cook, but clearly,
Maybe he threw a spoonful of masala in the
right, right,
boiling pot.
and claim
Maybe,
cooking rights. Yeah.
yeah, could be that. But the what is surprising everyone is the kind of celebration, that the Congress attempt is to show that this conviction has happened because of some hand of the BJP, because the petitioner is a BJP leader who has Modi in his name. Of course, Abhishek Singhvi has even challenged that, saying that this man has been using surname Modi only recently, so he's not an original Modi. But this whole thing need not have extended thus far. All that in defamation cases, what one sees is people, whoever is accused of defaming anyone, he offers an apology and says, "Look, I don't want to hurt anyone," and the matter ends there. But this
Correct.
matter should come up to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court, everybody expected that he would get relief, because the whole impression was that Rahul Gandhi has been given a punishment, particularly a defamation case, and that to the maximum punishment of 2 years. That is exactly what is the minimum required for losing your membership. So the whole thing was, these are all interlinked, and of course, personally, I get the information that within the BJP there is a sense of relief. Actually, they are very happy that the next 2024 Lok Sabha elections is again going to be Rahul versus Modi, and that suits the BJP strategy managers, and they feel, oh, this is excellent. This is the way we would like the Lok Sabha elections. But what is going to happen in the opposition alliance camp, that's going to be very interesting, because on the face of it, you had Mamta congratulating him, you had other leaders congratulating him, but all these leaders with prime ministerial ambitions know very well that now there is no stopping Rahul Gandhi, because he will contest elections also, and and we have had senior Congress leaders like Prithviraj Chauhan saying that he is the most powerful leader, and obviously he is going to lead the opposition alliance, which means that Rahul Gandhi is back as the prime ministerial candidate. Now, how the opposition alliance is going to take it? Of course, you are hearing all altruistic comments like, "We are not bothered about Prime Minister office. We are not bothered about who leads us. All that we are interested is we somehow work together to get BJP out," and things like that. But the undercurrent, even at this juncture, shows that the fact that Rahul has no hurdles to cross at the moment, so that means he's a serious candidate. He may appear to be, you know, assisting Mallikarjun Kharge in running the party, or guiding Mallikarjun Kharge like his mother does. But the fact remains, it's a question of time. People are saying that once the assembly elections are over in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, and Madhya Pradesh, and if the results are very, very favorable to Rahul Gandhi, you will see that in a month or two, by December or Jan, Kharge offering to step down and Rahul Gandhi becoming the Congress president. It's quite possible, because this is not going to remain here, and that is why the celebration over something, a self-inflicted pain, a self-inflicted the thing, and then getting relief from that, and then there is a mood for celebration. That's fine. But this is definitely causing some unease among the alliance partners of this opposition alliance, which is that five dot alliance, which is I.N.D.I.A. So this is the scenario we are seeing, sir.
Shekharji, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a person who understands the law very clearly. If the higher court has a problem with the lower court giving the maximum punishment, why should it not have just asked them, why did you give, rather than staying the order? So now let us say, just play this thing out. The lower court explains why. And then what is going to happen? Will they vacate the stay?
No, sir, it won't be a question of explaining. There is no explanation to be done, because already the Sessions Court is hearing the appeal of Rahul Gandhi against that lower court's order. That is the Surat order. Because
Okay.
that Sessions Court had actually upheld it. Now he has gone and appealed that very court first, because that's the stage it has to be done. And the hearing would start from August 21st. And Supreme Court had made it clear that whatever relief it has given, because initially the courts had stayed, the lower courts had stayed the sentencing part, which means he need not have have to go to the jail. But
Correct.
the punishment part was stayed, but not the conviction part. Now that the conviction has been stayed, which is a necessary prerequisite for your membership to be restored. So that is why this was necessary, and court has made it clear. Supreme Court, the apex court has made it clear. It's not getting into anything about the merits of the case, which will have to be argued again, in the lower court. And if he is not satisfied, he has to come to the High Court. Though a single bench of the High Court has upheld that order. So now, but there are certain arguments, sir. People are. We have to also, after the Supreme Court judgment, there are many people they are asking some question, which is that they are saying, look, when the High Court, put its approval on the lower court's order of giving 2 years, the High Court specifically mentioned that he is an habitual offender. He has been often, making these utterances, and there are several cases, one related to 𝗣𝗚𝘀𝘀𝘀. So he is an habitual offender. A point that was made by the High Court judge, that he opted louder. But there are two other arguments, which the Supreme Court has used to stay the conviction. One, that the electorate or the constituency which Rahul Gandhi represented, they cannot go unrepresented in the Lok Sabha. Now, in fact, the Election Commission would have announced fresh elections to Wayanad. I mean, it would not have gone unrepresented. Election Commission was probably waiting for what would be the response of the Supreme Court on August 4th, and every possibility it would not have gone unrepresented, because they would have announced by election declaring the seat as vacant. And other thing is, some people are asking, sir, some people who have read the Supreme Court judgment in this case, they are asking, if that is the logic one has to apply, that means no sitting MLA or MP should ever be convicted of a crime, because the moment he is convicted, he may lose the seat, in which case he has to, in which case the electorate may be deprived of representation. This is one. And second thing is, sir, and Supreme Court also said that they were staying it because without staying the conviction, he cannot be reinstated as MP, Member of Parliament, which means the Supreme Court was seized of more of his reinstatement rather than examining the conviction case. This is another argument that is being made some people. And now the other thing is, look, Supreme Court has itself, mentioned two things, that he has been making such utterances. He was warned before. The Supreme Court, in trying to balance out, has also pointed this out, that he is a person who makes this thing. So there is a gentle rap on the knuckles of Rahul Gandhi. I told him to be a little more careful. But then, as far as politically speaking, within the BJP, they are happy that Rahul is back. And he will be back as a principal player. And as I said earlier, the 2024 elections will again be Rahul versus Modi, which the other opposition leaders do not want to happen, because they know what are the consequences of such a Rahul versus Modi kind of a theme for the Lok Sabha elections, because They saw it in 2014. They have seen it in 2019, and they don't
19,
want a
yeah.
repeat of it in 2024. But this is the way it stands today.
Shekharji, thank you so much for that clarification. And we have to see what the speaker is going to do. Maybe they'll act on it on Monday and he comes back triumphant and becomes a member of Lok Sabha again. I mean, this is all, that is what is the beauty of democracy. Not everybody looks at the law the same way. A lower court has a certain view and the higher court thinks that that perhaps was not the right view or too drastic a view. So many twists and turns still left in this story. So stay tuned, viewers. If you have already not liked this video, kindly like the video. Now let's go on to the next one, which is Nitish Kumar's 2024 plan. It looked like he was going to be the face of the opposition, that he was going to be the prime ministerial candidate. Now that looks like a distant dream. Is it true, sir? What do you think?
Well, I do not know one of his closest ministers, Shravan Kumar. He has made a statement which has actually made other opposition leaders sit up, and because he's so close to Nitish Kumar, they do not think he would have spoken what he said without some kind of a tacit requirement of Nitish Kumar, which is that Nitish Kumar would contest, or rather could contest, the next parliamentary elections from Uttar Pradesh. And that too in the areas where his community, the Kurmi community, is in large number.
I was going to say
did
randomly selected. No, I was going to say randomly selected constituency, which coincidentally happens to have a large Kurmi population. That is the right way to put it, sir. Then this is democracy.
No, but why should Shravan Kumar say this? And Shravan Kumar is a minister also in Nitish, and he's an important JDU leader who is in charge of Uttar Pradesh. He is in charge of the Janata Dal United Unit in Uttar Pradesh also. Now, he says that there are three constituencies which are in the mind of Nitish Kumar, could be in the mind of Nitish Kumar. One is Jaunpur, which is very close to Varanasi. The other is Pratapgarh, which is also not very far off. And the third one is very interesting constituency, that is Phulpur. Now, Phulpur was also the constituency of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Now, that's a very interesting thing. And Nitish Kumar, who is, of course, he never has admits his ambition or his desire. Now, at a time when we are seeing, rather on a day, Rahul was again bouncing back as a potential most fancied prime ministerial candidate because of his position in the Congress and the desire of the Congress also, and also of particularly the Congress leader Sonia Gandhi also. Now, for Nitish Kumar's close aide to say that he'll contest from neighboring Uttar Pradesh, where three constituencies which are sizable Kurmi population. So people are wondering, what's the game? What is the signal Nitish Kumar is giving? Now, this talk gathered lot of strength till Prashant Kishore, who was once close aide of Nitish Kumar, who enjoyed a cabinet rank in the Nitish government and fell out because something that Prashant Kishore wanted and Nitish was not willing to give. Now, who has launched his own party, and he has been traveling in Bihar. Now, he says, I can give it in writing because I know Nitish Kumar very well, that he will never contest any election. Because since 2004, that is when the last time when he contested an election, and since 1985, he has been always a member of the Bihar Legislative Council. He has never ventured to contest even an assembly election, even all this period of being chief minister. So he says, I dare Nitish Kumar to fight an election. He will never fight an election. And the argument he will take is that I have to look after all the constituencies, I have to look after the entire country in this case, because if he gets appointed as a convener or something. Now, in the meantime, sir, today in Mumbai, the leaders of the Maha-Vikas Aghadi, whatever is left of it, they all met the Congress, the Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray, as well as Sharad Pawar, because now they have the burden of hosting the opposition alliance, the third meeting of the opposition alliance on August 31st and September 1st. That's the latest dates that have been announced. when the opposition alliance will take place. And these two things they have. The main thing is to have a 11-member, some kind of a coordination committee, a kind of a politburo or something, and possibly announce a chairman for this alliance or a convener for this alliance. Now, these are very, very tricky things. And Sharad Pawar, is just back from Pune, where he played a host to Prime Minister receiving the Bal Gangadhar Tilak Award, Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak Award, and which many opposition leaders were very upset that Sharad Pawar shared a stage, and there was a bonhomie on the stage, which raised several questions as to how serious or united is this opposition alliance. Now, after that, Sharad Pawar is going to host this meeting. Now, between now and August 31st, there are good more than one can say more than 20 days. We do not know what else will happen during this period. But what is coming clear, sir, now, on one hand, bouncing back of Rahul Gandhi. Then Nitish Kumar, people talking about is going to contest Lok Sabha elections. And then the fact that they have to present a more cohesive front, and also have a structured kind to deal with the organizational issues, some kind of a member committee, a convener, a chairman, so that the alliance looks really, has taken off despite all these contradictions and ideological total incoherence. Now, this is the kind of scene that is going to be there when, of course, everyone talks about, we saw last week how Sonia Gandhi went to, even greet Sanjay Singh, who was on a protest, rather he was sitting in outside the parliament because he was suspended for the rest of the budget session because of his behavior inside the Rajya Sabha. So Sonia Gandhi went up to him. Sir, but in all this, another dimension has happened. Sir, already with Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, who made a big deal about this Delhi Services Bill and wanted Congress to come out with its support as a precondition to his attending the Bangalore summit of these leaders, and finally Congress gave in. Now, Amit Shah, while piloting the bill, the Delhi Services Bill, on the floor of the Lok Sabha said, look, we are going to pass this legislation. We have got enough strength in Rajya Sabha now because support has come from Biju Janata Dal, from AAP Congress, from Telugu Desam. All parties are, in fact, they have 9 members surplus in Rajya Sabha, whereas they require only 120. They have got 129 now. That is the government side. So, what they are saying is, what Amit Shah said was, look, once the bill is passed and becomes a law, Arvind Kejriwal will again dump Congress. Now, I do not know whatever is this, but there is another, looks like a related matter concerning Congress and Aam Aadmi Party was, Dinesh Gundu Rao, the Karnataka minister, was on a visit to Mohallas in Delhi. That is the so-called, clinic.
Mohalla clinics.
Clinic.
Yeah.
Mohalla clinics. And Mohalla clinics and Dinesh Gundu Rao, he was taken around by Saurabh Bharadwaj, a minister who is in charge of health and under which this whole clinic concept comes. So, and Aam Aadmi Party has been hosting leaders whoever want to see this clinic, which they tout as one of the important achievements of the Delhi government. Now, initially Dinesh Gundu Rao was seen to be very appreciative, but when it all got over and finally when he was leaving, he said, look, there is no big deal about this Mohalla clinics. We have better clinics in Karnataka. Initially, his observation was in favor of, in favor of all this. But once he had come out and the AAP leaders started saying, look, after he had praised, he got a phone call. He took a phone call, and after that, he started speaking against, saying that no big deal about Mohalla clinic. So, Aam Aadmi Party, people are very upset. What is this? We hosted him and he is criticizing these Mohalla clinics, saying they have better clinics there. This is something unique. Whole world notices us. So, you are already seeing on an issue like Mohalla clinic, the friction has started. So, perhaps Amit Shah's words may come true. Once the bill is passed, nothing that holds Aam Aadmi Party and Congress, because there has been so many, a lot of rumblings within the Congress that why would we have to support this? In the meantime, sir, there is another thing that is being talked about, because once the bill is passed and Arvind Kejriwal feels he is a loser in this, the mega fight which he had escalated to such proportions, that there is a possibility that Arvind Kejriwal may strike back. And some people are willing to even say, look, he's so mad at this whole development that has happened, and that he is not able to muster numbers despite his Bharat Darshan meeting leaders to support him. And there is a further fear. The government may try to show that even within the opposition ranks there are further cracks. People are absenting or abstaining. On the day of the matter is taken up in the Rajya Sabha this week, coming week. In which case, Arvind Kejriwal, once the bill is passed, he may even create a situation where he resigns, gets his whole cabinet resigned, that this government cannot function because the center is not allowing it. And then there could be a more kind of a further drama, because without drama he cannot make a political point. If that were to happen, I mean, he will put the entire blame to center. He may even get his MLS to resign, saying, look, we will go for fresh elections and prove that how Delhi people are still with us. Now, these are in the realm of speculation, but such wide speculation that if an angry Kejriwal could even do this.
But what happens when you resign is that your money flow stops and you have a big elections to fight. That's a big counterweight, sir. Why would you want to do that? Because let us say BJP calls the bluff and places Delhi under president's rule. It anyway is under president's rule, because most of the functioning power is with the center. Under lieutenant governor's rule. So you after 6 months you just say that the thing is, situation isn't right, extended by another 6 months. By the time elections would be over, in Lok Sabha elections will be over, he will have no money. So that would be a suicidal step for him.
In a sense, yes. But then sometimes the drama can overtake logic. So one doesn't know the normal political logic. So one does not know, because how is Arvind Kejriwal going to respond to this? The fact that the bill, in all certainty, will be passed, and the matter will, of course, this has been challenged in Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court will definitely further examine whether, because what the center has done, they have used a scope left behind by the Supreme Court in its judgment, that look, this is an area where the Parliament is free to pass a law, but in the existing scheme of things, in the constitutional scheme of things, the elected government should have a say over the services, over the babus. Now, the BJP's counter is, look, you are after the babus because they turned whistleblowers, they exposed your corruption, and now you want to rein in them by controlling the services. Otherwise, all these years, the services, there was no issue. Even Sheila Dikshit, she managed under Vajpayee. She didn't have a problem. But the other thing is, Supreme Court's argument, look, if an elected government cannot control the officials, then how else it can get work done? But then people also point to such episodes where a chief secretary, was probably physically harmed during a meeting taking place in Arvind Kejriwal's house. So, these are pointing out, and that how angered the Babu Dome, it upset the bureaucracy, because that meeting had MLAs present. In the presence of Arvind Kejriwal, this incident happened. One doesn't know how he was physically harmed. Was he slapped? Was he pushed? And so we haven't, that is something I think. And already the bureaucrats have been saying that they would not like to work, with this government. And sir, Amit Shah made a point. Amit Shah pointed to the opposition leaders saying, you are supporting this kind of government. Normally, it is officials who prepare a file and then send it to the ministers for further action. But in Delhi government, it has been the other way around. The ministers prepare a file, then they tell the officials to proceed on that. So there are several things that came up during this debate, and where Amit Shah was very, very, I would say, very forceful in his arguments on the floor of the Lok Sabha. We are going to see a similar debate this week, because before the Parliament ends around 11th, unless there is any extension, you will see that in Rajya Sabha too, Amit Shah will be, hammer and tongs at this, the the opposition support for Kejriwal on this issue.
So, if I take a step back, 2013, 2014 time frame, right? And what was the thing that was told? That AAP is the B team of Congress. Now, the B team, this is what I call as B teamitis. What B teamitis is the B team thinks it is so big that it can grow out of the A team's misery and, in fact, eventually beat the A team itself. If you look at where the vote transfers has happened, whether it is Punjab or Delhi or Gujarat or Goa, everywhere the AAP has tasted limited success at the expense of the so-called A team. So there is this cutting down to size of the B team that could be happening. I'm speculating, Shekharji, you are much closer to the center of power. Perhaps you can tell me I'm smoking weed or I'm having some element of truth in what I'm observing.
Sir, I get a feeling that because they wanted to ensure success of the Bangalore meeting of the opposition leaders, and Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi were very keen that somehow Arvind Kejriwal makes his appearance and the crack, particularly after what has happened to the government in Maharashtra, they wanted to show that Arvind Kejriwal is with them, and they also wanted to keep Mamata Banerjee in good humor. That is why the Congress came out with that statement saying that they will support. Now, Congress support or not support has become immaterial because other parties which were not part of the NDA alliance, they are willing to support the government on this. So that has left, Congress wonder. And when there is an open revolt in the Punjab unit of the Congress as well as in the Delhi unit, Punjab unit, out of 13 Lok Sabha seats, there 7 are sitting Congress MPs. They are they are upset. They are saying, why should we support Kejriwal? And if it will be suicidal to do this. Sir, in 2013 elections also, after 2030 election, it is Congress which provided that support to Kejriwal because he didn't have the full number. Of course, then there was another issue, then he resigned, and then again fresh elections, and in the fresh election bounced back. That's the same argument some AAP leaders are using now, that if you trifle with Kejriwal, people of Delhi will give the answer. So why not let us go to the people? But I'm not sure whether the MLAs, there are a lot of them, sir, almost 67 of them are all AAP MLAs. I do not know whether they will be happy to again face the people. And between the last elections and today, so many things have happened because the elections are not due till 2025. So one can see that there is a lot of commotion going on, and after this bill, probably Kejriwal feels that his hands will be permanently tied, and that the very office of Delhi Chief Minister doesn't hold any meaning for him. This is what people close to him say.
Well, we'll wait and see how this cookie crumbles. We have some breaking news about Mr. Senthil Balaji. In fact, yesterday in one of our hangouts, somebody asked what has happened to him. His trail seems to have gone cold. Can we have that slowly, please? Headline, please. ED seizes cash, valuables, documents related to Benami properties from premises linked to Senthil Balaji's associate. Now, the name of this person, I have it here. I can read out the article in a little bit. Just 1 second. So the name of the person, oops, I just missed it. 1 second.
Yeah, S.T. Swaminathan.
Yeah. And so if you have the update, please go ahead, sir. I was just trying to set the context.
Yeah, S.T. Swaminathan is one of the closest aides of Senthil Balaji. Yesterday, that is on Friday, they had raided the residence and properties of a person named Kaliyappan, who is also another associate of Senthil Balaji. He is also popularly known as Tire Money because their family runs the tire business. He was also raided, and they found a lot of assets disproportionate to whatever is known to be source of income. And today's seizures are even far more eye-catching, in the sense they have seized 22 lakhs in cash and also about 16 lakhs in terms of jewelry and ornaments and things like that. I think that the very fact that the ED has issued a statement also to say that these are the seizures. Now, he remains in the hospital jail, in Pural Hospital jail. He remains in the hospital, which is there, part of the Pural central jail on the outskirts of Chennai. And Madras High Court has now reserved judgment on two cases. I mean, two petitions before it. One, a petition which was filed by Senthil Balaji's wife challenging the legality of the arrest. And there was another petition seeking a direction by the Madras High Court invoking the Article 226 of the Constitution, where a High Court can declare a person unfit to hold office. And the petitioners who moved the High Court on in this regard said, look, Senthil Balaji, having faced such serious charges, could not continue as minister. Now, the judgment is reserved by a division bench. It may take a few days before the judgment is announced. Now, at this juncture, I think people are asking one question. I mean, the question that has repeatedly come in a number of your hangouts. Is there a possibility or a pressure building up on Senthil Balaji as to whether he will turn approver, whether he will come clean as to why he was doing what he was doing, and for whom was he collecting so much of cash, and which was he a conduit for someone else? Would he dare to name them? Because these are the things that are being talked about in Tamil Nadu today. For whom was he doing all this? So I think there is a lot of interest with the enforcement directorate mounting pressure, zeroing in on more and more associates of Senthil Balaji. I mean, people who have been holding the Benami, cash flow, whatever was coming, the proceeds of the operations and activities of Senthil Balaji as one of the most powerful ministers in Stalin's government. So people are asking, are these all going to finally lead to that situation where Senthil Balaji may ultimately say, look, I will turn approver and I will come clean as to what I was supposed to do and what I have been doing. If that were to happen, what would be the implication on the stability of the DMK government, the stability of the Stalin leadership of the DMK? What will be the implication of what other senior DMK leaders would feel about continuation of Senthil Balaji? And what if a verdict comes from Madras High Court, which is against Senthil Balaji? I mean, these are several questions adding to more to the uncertainty surrounding Senthil Balaji and the nexus with the important family in the DMK, and as well as to how Stalin is going to, brace out this whole brewing storm.
Shekharji, the bigger problem that I see, sir, is that under Mr. Senthil Balaji, a parallel TASMAC organization had come up. They look like TASMAC. They seem to be dealing with the same kind of products, but they were not submitting their revenues to the government coffers. Now, this is something that I heard after he demitted office, that has been completely closed down, which means that perhaps the first family was not even aware that this way the money was also being siphoned off. What happens there? Liquor has very high interest or tax on it. So that tax money doesn't have to be paid to the exchequer. Secondly, if you want to, many of the politicians also have Benami liquor companies. Now, you can go there and tell them that, look, I will put your product in these fake stores, but you need to give me a cut there. So a lot of stuff can be happened. This guy is really able to paint outside the lines. I wonder if the first family itself is now concerned and want to kind of dump him now. Because, once you have established a parallel organization, that is dangerous, in my opinion. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, Shriyarji, this is exactly the scam that has been unearthed in Chhattisgarh. The Congress ruled Chhattisgarh. You mentioned about a parallel TASMAC. Same thing has happened in Chhattisgarh, because in Chhattisgarh too, the entire sale and distribution of liquor is controlled by the Chhattisgarh Marketing Corporation. Now, what did the Enforcement Directorate found, or the CBI found, was that these vends of this state-run corporation, they were selling liquor which were not shown as part of the official stock. And there also the revenue did not go to the state exchequer. That rather the state-run outlets, which are under the state-run corporation, were selling liquor, and the proceeds were not shown in the books, and the proceeds straight away went to that liquor syndicate. And that liquor syndicate was being operated by people very, very close to the Congress leadership in Chhattisgarh. And that is how Chhattisgarh was the main source of funds for the Congress party in several elections earlier. Now, same parallel. Now, we are hearing now about what happened in Tamil Nadu, or what could have happened to Tamil Nadu. But already we have a case in Chhattisgarh. Now, Chhattisgarh came to light in the wake of the CBI investigation into the Delhi excise scam. And in the Tamil Nadu scam, already we have been hearing that it's a very common knowledge in the sale of even liquor pouches in Tamil Nadu. The poor people have been asked to pay 10 rupees over and above what is the marked price for a pouch.
This is a scam on top of all the other scams.
Yes. So, and those people who refused to pay or created a ruckus were beaten up by cops or were removed from there, saying, no liquor for you, get lost, if you're questioning payment of 10 rupees extra.
Very, very interesting, sir. All I can say is, I feel sorry for the people who are gotten hooked onto this liquor, and it's just essentially a waste of their life left. The way it is going, every day they get
normally those who love their drinks don't mind paying any cost, but even they feel, charging 10 rupees extra, which they believe is going to these political leaders, is hurting them, even as they would love to enjoy their drinks.
Next question, please. I'm sorry, next topic, please. We are going, sorry, not ready for questions yet. Let's take a quick look at Stalin's letter to Prime Minister instead of writing to the Cauvery Tribunal about the non-implementation of the accord. So why try to drag this and make it into politics when he really needs to be talking to the Cauvery Tribunal?
Sherji, everybody is asking. Stalin went to Bengaluru, attended that opposition alliance, enjoyed the hospitality given by Siddaramaiah, even after 𝙒𝙧𝙬𝙀𝘀, made a statement saying Karnataka will not go back on the Meghdhatu project. And Meghdhatu project is very crucial to supply drinking water to Bengaluru city. 𝙒𝙧𝙬𝙀𝘀 made it clear. So people, in fact, the opposition asked, the BJP asked, will you take this up with the Siddaramaiah government? Since you are going there, you are going to spend 2 days there, why don't you take it up? There was no response from Stalin. Now, when he could pick the phone and tell Siddaramaiah, because they are all part of the grand opposition alliance, instead of that, a letter first Stalin wrote to the Water Resources Minister, 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝙀 Shekhar. Now he has written to the Prime Minister. So that, sir, if there is a problem in release of water or if there is a crisis and this water is needed for the 𝙒𝙬𝘀𝗀 crop, now which means in another next few days, or this is going to become an issue. If the Karnataka is not, sir, previously when the dams were overfull, whenever it rains heavily, the Karnataka releases the water. Now that they are looking at the Meghdhatu project and completing that project as early as possible, obviously they don't want to release. They would not like to do it as a kind of a regular commitment as part of the award, Cauvery award. So questions are being asked, but then the Stalin's bid to somehow involve the center, though there is a so-called friendly party, an alliance partner in power, it only goes to show that, look, this is some kind of a rearguard action, I would say, before things get out of hand. Now, this is, and sir, but Karnataka, we are seeing even, sir, it is getting even more interesting. We talked about it, how, two things have happened, sir, between our last hangout. And we talked about how Rahul Gandhi called a meeting of all these leaders on August 2nd. They all came here. Siddaramaiah came, 𝙒𝙧𝙬𝙀𝘀 came, and all Congress functionaries came. And where the Rahul Gandhi's instruction was that at least till the Lok Sabha elections are over, do not indulge in corruption and get a bad name. Now, I'm putting this rider at least till the Lok Sabha elections. Though the reported part is that Rahul Gandhi told these people, do not indulge in corruption. Let us not get a bad reputation. But I feel that particular appeal may be only till the Lok Sabha elections. But then the very fact that a meeting had been called because the MLAs, more than 30 of them, say they wrote a letter complaining that ministers are asking cuts from us. I mean, and the whole business now is transfer posting business, transfer posting promotion business. Now, I mentioned last time also, H.D. Kumaraswamy has been carrying a pen drive stating that he has got the rate list for various posts. And today, sir, H.D. Kumaraswamy held another press conference, rather yesterday. He held a press conference to say, look, they talked of a 40% Sarkara, but now we are having only collection Sarkara, from election to collection. And they all want to make up, and he claims now he has got audio tapes of one minister insisting on 10 crores for a particular transfer. So the transfer has become a very big industry now. That is the first place where, and sir, Kumaraswamy has come with even more, I would say, very serious allegation. He says that Bengaluru Development Authority has been told to collect 250 crores and ensure that the whole lot is delivered in New Delhi. This is H.D. Kumaraswamy's allegation. And he says that he is getting more and more information, and he feels his one pen drive is not enough. He may require more pen drives. He has got audio tapes. Of course, Siddaramaiah tried to dismiss it and saying that, look, this is a spit and scoot kind of thing. I don't take the Kumaraswamy seriously. But everybody is talking about it. BJP is, of course, very happy that Siddaramaiah has taken it up. And the BJP had faced a lot of opposition during the elections. In the course, the campaign was 40% Sarkara. Now, Kumaraswamy is given a new name, Collection Sarkara. And he says, election to collection. This is what has happened in the regime change in Karnataka. That election was related to collection, and all the Congress leaders want to first recover whatever they have spent in the elections, and then also make the required necessary contribution. And Kumaraswamy said, Rahul Gandhi's appeal to these people, how will it work not to do corruption? They will have to indulge in corruption to meet their quotas that has been fixed by the party high command. So already you are seeing the other tamsha is now happening in Karnataka, and everybody is wondering. And of course, D.K. Shivakumar says, look, Kumaraswamy spent some time earlier he spent time in Singapore. That is the time he talked of a Singapore plot. After that, Kumaraswamy, it seems, went to Europe. So what Shivakumar says is, Kumaraswamy has been in Europe, he has come back, let him take rest. Let us not bother about what he is saying. But definitely, sir, Congress people are rattled. What is happening is, one is the image issue. The other is that MLA is making the allegation that ministers are insisting on cuts from us. They say that you come with us to recommend a transfer, means you have taken something. If you have taken something, why don't you give a part of it to us? Which means ministers are not even sparing their own MLAs to do their work. So you can imagine what is happening in Karnataka, sir. That sorry to use Kumaraswamy's phrase again, from election for a Naya Sarkara to collection Sarkara. This is now engaging everyone's attention. And also, sir, I would like to disclose one more thing. I am told when Siddaramaiah, since he had come here to meet Rahul Gandhi and that meeting, which was again a Kharge way of putting Siddaramaiah on leash, because this meeting in Delhi was not at all required, according to people close to Siddaramaiah. So when Siddaramaiah came to Delhi, he took the opportunity to pay a courtesy call on the Prime Minister. And it seems, I am getting to hear from people close to both the leaders, that during the meeting, Prime Minister asked Siddaramaiah as to why did you get into this trap of providing freebies? Now you say you don't have funds, because Siddaramaiah met the finance minister also. And so the Prime Minister said, look, you have presented at least 19 budgets, and 9 of them as Chief Minister, as Finance Minister, you have done rather 14 budgets. Now, why did you get into this trap? Why are you now in a situation where your Deputy CM D.K. Kumar says, we don't have funds for next 1 year for any developmental activity, for any repair of anything of any kind, whether it is road, bridge, school building or anything? Why did you get into this? So Siddaramaiah, it seems, told the Prime Minister, sir, how can I explain my problem? I'm caught in a situation. This is what the buzz is. That this is what Siddaramaiah, meaning that these promises were not made by him, which is true. That these promises were announced by Priyanka Gandhi, who made a similar announcement in Himachal, and Himachal government under Congress is struggling for resources. Same thing has now happened in Karnataka, and already Priyanka Gandhi has made some announcements in Madhya Pradesh, what is called the promises, 5 promises. Now, the fact that the government is openly saying, the state government in Karnataka, that they don't have money this year. Now, if they don't have money this year, how are they going to find money in the next 4 years? These are all big questions, sir, and there is a lot of rumbling, because within the Congress, people are not very happy because this kind of money or anything. And of course, Siddaramaiah was asked by reporters, sir, in Delhi, whether did he take up the rice issue, since he wanted to buy rice and from FCI, and FCI had initially agreed, then they said no. Siddaramaiah said, no, I did take it up because they have already announced cash in lieu of rice. That extra rice they wanted, they are going to give cash now. Sir.
Well, it's very unfortunate that all these are now becoming bundles of lies. Even in Himachal, they cannot implement the old pension scheme. It's just too high of an overhead. So all these are just empty promises. But BJP needs to get its messaging clear. They need to hammer that these are basically lies to get you into voting, and they never deliver on these things. It's all in the messaging,
definitely.
so we'll wait and see. Yeah.
I think the messaging the Prime Minister has already taken up. He has started saying that recently when he was in Rajasthan, he made a point. He said, look, already governments which made these promises are now saying they don't have funds for anything else. This is against the welfare of the people. The actual welfare, actual development is welfare of the people. Prime Minister did. And one can hear more of this, sir, when the Prime Minister replies to the no confidence motion in the Parliament, the Lok Sabha this week. And probably he may speak on 10th. And one is going to hear a lot from the Prime Minister, where I think he is going to pin down, particularly the opposition ruled governments, how they made promises to come to power, promises they knew very well in advance that it was very difficult to be implemented, there are no resources, and they would completely throw the state budget into, in tatters. That's what exactly is happening. Now, why were those promises made if they didn't have resources? And why would, Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Gandhi, who are not directly connected with the governance, what would they do? Sir, there is one more interesting, sir, related. When all these Karnataka ministers were called to Delhi to meet Rahul Gandhi, I heard from one or two Congress leaders from Karnataka saying, what is this? How is Rahul going to advise us on governance? He has never been in the government before. You are already finding rumblings, because there is, even after such a stupendous victory, winning 135 seats, there is, ministers are unhappy, MLAs are unhappy. Siddaramaiah cannot be too pleased with the kind of situation he has to face. 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘀𝘀 is naturally unhappy. So this coming week, sir, in Parliament, all these issues will dominate.
Thank you so much, Shekharji. Let's take a few questions now before we have to wind down. We've already taken 53 minutes into this show. I'd like to keep it short. Maybe 2 or 3 questions. Kushan and Keshava wants to know, Namaskaram to both of you from Bay Area. Would the stay issued by SC turn the tables in favor of Congress? What was the reason for overturning the High Court verdict on RaGa by SC? I think we touched upon this, right?
Yeah, basically the Supreme Court said, why did not the High Court explain it was upholding a lower court order, and even the lower court I did not explain why it was giving the maximum punishment of 2 years in a defamation case. Why the reasoning was not given?
Next one, please. Pawan Kishore wants to know, Namaskaram, what are your views on the conspiracy paper by Sabyasachi Das, professor of Ashoka University, that 2019 elections were manipulated? In contrary, they are one-sided than manipulated.
Sir, this particular paper which was published, which tries to hint that the last elections, because BJP won some seats which had never won before with a narrower margin, probably they were manipulated. But at the same time, the paper also says, look, there is no conclusive proofs or evidence. Basically, to start now itself, that the BJP, to basically raise questions and create doubts. To create doubts at the mandate. Now, even people who are not friendly towards BJP, who are not greatly enamored by Prime Minister Modi, even they have questioned the findings of this paper. At least I have seen the write-ups by one or two columnists who are definitely not BJP supporters. They have also said, look, this way of suggesting, that that it could have been manipulated without offering a proper evidence just because some seats were won. Because in actual terms, the seats that the BJP won, they are not more than 2 digits, who's by narrow margin, which the people did not expect they would win. Now, that is not an argument to come to a conclusion that it was manipulated. Basically, trying to say that there was some influence on the EVM and things like that. Sir, EVM is a bahana. If so long as I win in Karnataka, EVMs are working. If I lose in Rajasthan, then I will say EVMs. EVM is a bahana, bahana excuse for if I lose the election. Now, after this paper, the Ashoka University distanced itself, because obviously you are using terms like research, well analyzed statistics and things like that, but basically you are trying to make it sound as if you have done some empirical study to establish what you have already concluded, that there were some manipulative efforts for the BJP to get a second mandate. But I don't think this effort will succeed, sir, because we all know in a country like India, it's not possible. And the argument was because some officials came from from BJP ruled states, so the officials may probably owed allegiance to the BJP. But some of these officials were sent to states like Mamata, or to Odisha, to Bengal and Odisha. Do you know the results there? So some of these claims in this paper are absolutely ridiculous.
Next question, please, and let's make this the last question. Rahul Gandhi wants to know, after 2024, will opposition change their strategy and appease Hindus, because after 24, right-wing and Hindutva is way forward and future because secularism is history. Now nobody is interested in it. Your view, sir?
Rahulji, already you have Chunavi Hindu during the election time. There are people who try to be more, show their religiosity in greater fervor during elections. But I think post 2024, there will be a lot of changes in the political discourse, in the way in the whole political year. Because if, as everyone expects, Prime Minister to come back with a third, and if it's a bigger mandate, obviously the opposition parties would be out of business, and a lot of they may have to do a lot of rethink, whether simply trying to drop their secularism, whatever they are doing in the name of secularism, is not enough. But definitely we are going to see a lot of changes the coming year.
Thank you very much, sir. And now let us wrap this thing. Our last question here. Pardu RD wants to know, sir, what happens if Rajya Sabha is adjourned on Monday if the Dots group creates ruckus? Will the bill pass and ruckus before no confidence motion debate starts on Tuesday?
No, the low confidence motion will be taken up in the Lok Sabha. And the Delhi Services Bill is in the Rajya, it will come to the Rajya Sabha, because Lok Sabha has already passed this bill. So for it to become a final law, it requires passage in both the houses. So the Delhi Services Bill will come up in the Rajya Sabha, and the no confidence motion is taken up in the Lok Sabha.
That brings us to a close of today's program. Viewers, I hope you liked it, and I hope you liked our video. And also, please don't, if you have not subscribed to us yet, please do subscribe to us, and also click on the bell button. You have to click on all notifications so that you will get notified whenever we post new videos. Thank you very much, Shekhar ji. Namaskar.
Namaskar.